Hey, welcome back to my channel. My name is Nikki. Today we're going to talk about something different. Usually I'd post daily vlogs, weekly vlogs, DIY, fitness content, but today I wanted to really talk about 5 changes you can make to your life to improve your life without spending any money. And I know if you're on this page and if you clicked on this video, you're probably looking for a certain type of answer. And I'm saying this because I was also somebody who was looking for a lot of answers, not just online, from different people, from different books, from so many different things. And I remember being so frustrated because no matter what video I clicked on, I could not relate because I'm like, it's always something that I saw in the video that I was like, ugh, this doesn't apply for me because their life looks different, because they have certain things that I don't have, or they had help from different people, or they had different opportunities. I just couldn't connect with any video, and that did nothing but send me down a rat race of a whole bunch of different videos to end up right back where I started with absolutely nothing. So I wanted to make a video that was specifically things that you can change without anybody else and anything else. If you're interested and you watch that intro and you're like, okay, let's see what she's talking about, keep watching. But I also want to make note that if you're watching this and you hear the things that I'm talking about and you're like, she's not helping me, please, 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 please watch the whole video and just put that little voice aside, because these are the things that are actually going to help you not only right now, but in the long run. That feeling that you're gonna be like, oh, this is frustrating, I need something else, I need some actual help. Do not listen to that voice and listen to my voice. I'm just kidding. Okay, let's get started. But number 1 is your routine. There's so much power in your routine, but also the problems that we usually have are in our routine. But for this video, I was like thinking about writing a script because I was like, I need to have all my thoughts down, but I'm like, you know what? I want to actually speak from my experience and speak from my heart. I'm just kidding. But for real, like I literally want to speak from that place because I feel like more people would connect with that versus me just like going online and looking up the benefits of a routine. Like we all can do that. We all can do that. Literally, if you need some help doing that, just go on Google. I had changed careers, I would say like 2, almost 3 years ago. I used to be a personal trainer. And my routine was like, I'm 5 a.m. waking up, session, I'm driving all over the place, I'm coming back, and I'm doing work on my online business. I just like had so much, don't want to call it structure because it was chaotic and I hated it, but I had things to do at all points of the day. It was almost like I was forced into creating a routine. I can't sit here and be like, yeah, and then I decided I'm gonna do my routine. No, it really didn't happen like that. It started with me wanting to, 1, just make it through the days, because I was definitely not in a good place. I was like, I need to find something that I can do consistently, that I can know I can show up and I can work on. Being able to create a time in the morning where I had for myself. It was really hard to set that time because everybody just like needed something from me. So I was like, okay, let me set some clear boundaries. So I had to tell my entire family, nobody talk to me until after 10:30. If you try to call me, I'm not gonna answer. I turned my phone on Do Not Disturb and I set that time for myself. The more I stuck to that boundary, the easier it was for me to kind of ingrain that routine in my life, because I was like, this is serious for me. It made me take myself more seriously. And it also held me accountable for showing up, because I can't tell people I'm doing this and then not actually do it, because then I look like I'm a liar. And then it's not, when you make a promise to yourself, you want to keep it, or else you're doing more harm than good. It was nothing but my morning routine. I'm cooking and cleaning and I'm working out. Those were the 3 things that I did over and over again. And when I tell you, even though I have way more responsibility now, I still continue to do those 3 things, and they are the foundation of my routine now. That gave me way more confidence. It gave me way more structure. It lowered my stress and my anxiety a ton. So overall, your routine is basically the best way to create a foundation that you can build your life on. If you don't have a routine, what are you even doing? I was able to see the difference between starting my day with intention and not. If you've never tried a routine, find one thing that you know you could show up every day for and work on that. Number 2, if journaling was a fan club, I would be a fangirl. I would be the CEO. Journaling most definitely saved my mindset. I think it's the most humbling thing I think it's the best tool for personal development, honestly, because I never really used to journal. I would do like a couple of entries. I would like write like my feelings down. I'll be like, oh my God, this happened today, being super dramatic. I was never consistent with it. I started this book, and actually I didn't even find it. My client found it, and she was like, we're doing it, and I know you love it because it kind of like focuses on helping with your creativity. That was like the main thing that I was looking for at the time. I feel like I had basically writer's block for my creativity. She gave me the book, and it's called The Artist's Way, and I'll tag it in the caption below. The one thing that stuck with me was the journaling. You have to write like 3 pages every morning, and I was like, that is a lot. I don't like homework. Being forced, I guess, to create a routine of journaling and writing my thoughts. I didn't expect it to do what it did, because honestly, I was going through a phase where I was listening to all these podcasts. I was like practicing manifesting. I was saying my affirmations. Journaling was almost like a slap in the face for me. I would say I wrote for about 9 weeks. After the 9th week, I was like, let me go back and check out what I've been writing about. I made it through not even a whole page, and I was disgusted by my mindset. When I looked at the words on the page, I was like, how am I sitting here manifesting, sitting here thinking positively and saying my affirmations, and these are the thoughts that are in my mind, in my subconscious? It was like almost the answer, like, this is why I'm in the position I was in. It was honestly pathetic. And being able to see myself in that way, I was like, whoa, we have got to fix this. So I made a promise to myself. I was like, I'm no longer writing negatively about my life. I'm no longer complaining in my journaling, because it was doing nothing but keeping me in that space. I was able to see the victim mindset that I had, that I would always deny. I was like, if you tell me you were being a victim, no. I advise you guys to write, and not like fake write. Don't tell yourself what you think you want to hear. Write until you can't write anything and you don't have anything else to write about. And then that is when you really start seeing the thoughts that are in your head. It's almost like I'm able to separate myself from myself and look and be like, I know how to fix this, because I'm able to look at the problem without being in it. Sometimes it's hard to be patient when you don't see any changes happening. If you don't build a foundation, you can't build a high tower. So for me, I went inwards, and I almost wanted to kind of unravel myself and fix all of those issues so I can be stronger. So being able to go back and see the areas that I was super weak, and to be able to just have it to where I could always go back and see where I came from and the success that I have without anything tangible, because that money and all those things that you see that people think are important, it's not. These are the things that are actually going to change your life. It's almost like I have a book of my life. So I always advise journaling. Give it a try. If you hate it, find a different way to do the same thing. So do your journaling. All right, number 3. This one is a short one because it's simple. Isolation. You need to be able to spend time with yourself. If you're one of those people who, oh my God, I hate being by myself, I can't, that's the problem. I'm not saying you have to be alone in your life, but being able to have time to sit with yourself and talk to yourself. And sometimes you don't even have to say anything, just being with yourself. If you feel discomfort, you're able to kind of question yourself to the answer. So if you're feeling uncomfortable by yourself, why am I feeling uncomfortable right now? I feel uncomfortable because of this. And ask yourself the 5 whys. Keep asking yourself why until you get to the root of the problem. When you're in a phase where you're trying to redesign your life and improve your life, as much as people say they don't care about what other people think about them, you do. You do. It's very, very difficult to not be susceptible to other people's opinions. Even if you have a way of, you know what, that doesn't matter, to talk yourself out of it, even hearing it in this kind of developmental stage, it can affect your progress. You want to be mindful of the people you keep around you, because if they're not speaking life into you, if they're not supporting you, if they're not bringing positive energy, if they're one of those people who you're complaining and they hop on the complaining wagon and they're like, yeah, that really sucks, and they just pour water on your victim mindset to make the freaking victim bloom, you don't want those people around you. Also, isolation doesn't necessarily mean like you're a loner for the rest of your life. I don't want you to think that you have to go back to quarantine. I loved quarantine because that time for myself, I was like, no, nobody expects me to come out. And if you're an introvert, you know what I mean. You can leave the house and you can find things to do by yourself. If you love to go eat, go try new restaurants. If you love the beach, go to the beach and enjoy the vastness of the ocean. If you love to work out, go work out by yourself. If you want to stretch and meditate, I think there's so many things that you can do by yourself that aren't like sitting in your room looking at the walls. So it's up to you to figure out what that is and what that looks like, but that's the fun part. Learning yourself. You're building the life you want, and that requires you to know what you want. So you can't know what you want if you're around everybody else, because then you're just going to be wanting what they want. Number 4, and this one's probably one of my favorite ones because I believe that this is actually magic, and that is gratitude. The practice of gratitude will immediately switch your mood. Immediately switch your mindset. And if not, you're not being grateful. Being able to practice gratitude almost shows you that you don't necessarily have control over the things that happen to you. It humbles you in a way that you kind of release the control that you have over your life, and you're able to see the things that you do have so you can use them to get you to a different place. I have been stuck in the same financial situation for so long, and it's almost like God was keeping me in this space because I valued money in a way that it shouldn't be valued. I put too much of my identity in money and the success, and it's like that is what made me feel successful, and if I wasn't making money, then I'm a failure. Like, I had such a issue with separating myself from that I had to almost like reorganize my value system, and having gratitude helped me do that. We're always going to want something. And when you have everything you want, you're going to want something more. You're going to want something else. You're going to complain. That's just us as humans. If you're not intentional about being grateful for the things and the space you're in your life, that honestly like says a lot. And you have to be real with yourself. I would have these things called gratitude moments in the car. Every time I came to a red light or a stop sign, I have to say something I'm grateful for, and I have to have a gratitude moment. And it really was just like a party, and I'm just saying all this stuff that I'm grateful for. I was grateful for my nails. I was grateful for having eyelashes. I was like, God, I know how to do my own hair, so I'm grateful for that. I'm grateful to live in Los Angeles. I'm grateful for the sun. You could feel it lifting your energy. That energy puts you in a different space, puts you in a different mindset. So yeah, just practice having gratitude moments. Pick a time in the day. If it's like every hour, on the hour, you say something you're grateful for. Have a gratitude party. I'll come. Send me the invite. I'm pulling up. Okay, last but most definitely not least, this is actually my favorite one. And this is the one, I was kind of anxious about talking about it because I'm like, what if somebody doesn't believe in God? On my page, we're going to praise the Lord and we're going to give him the glory because all the glory belongs to him. So your relationship with God, I would say, is probably one of the most important things that you can change without any help, without anything. You can change it right now. So a lot of people would be like, well, I don't necessarily have a relationship with God and I don't know where to start. It's like, girl, you always had a relationship and he's always there and he's always looking out for you. There's nothing you can do to technically fix it because it was never broken. And that is something that I had to learn, and I'm learning more today. It's funny because when I go back and I look at my journaling, I was able to see the things that just like what I thought my relationship with him was. I was like, I'm doing all the right things, like I'm doing my devotion, I'm praying, I'm doing all of this stuff, and I'm still not seeing any change. I'm still not hearing you. I'm still not feeling you. I'm like, are you even real? I'm like questioning all these things. It was honestly until I like went back and looked at that I was like, he was there the whole time. And I'm over there throwing tantrums because it wasn't looking the way I wanted it to look. It allowed me to see the kind of control and the unrealistic standards that I had for myself. It was almost like he was sitting there, you know, when you're talking to somebody, like if you go to see a therapist, I've never been to a therapist, but I figured it would be like this. But if you go and they're sitting there and you're just venting and you're talking, they're honestly just gonna sit there and listen. They're not gonna say much. So I felt like when I was voicing all my problems and my issues, I would be like, this is happening. And I'm like freaking out, throwing a tantrum. And he's just sitting there like, not saying a word. And I'm like, I'm like, hello, do you even hear me? Like, I'm in trouble and you're supposed to save me. It took like multiple stages of me realizing that I was already saved, and that all I had to do was just kind of let go of the control. The frustration for me came because I had this idea of what my relationship was supposed to look like. I had this idea of what my life was supposed to look like. I had these unrealistic standards that I didn't even know where I was going. And I wanted to drive the boat. I'm like, girl, I decided, I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna start my days off with a devotion. Even though I didn't even know how to do devotion, I was just like, I'm just gonna talk to him. It gave me something to kind of hook onto so I wasn't just floating around. Because when you're floating around, you can go anywhere. And that is a scary place to be. It also helped me understand that the things that I was going through and everything that I'm going through is helping me become who I'm made to become. And the things that I have to face, I would be praying and asking God to kind of like save me from them, which is so contradicting if you think about it, because I'm sitting there, God, this is what I want my life to look like. These are the things I want. And I'm asking, and I'm like, you said ask and you shall receive. But when he's taking me through the process to get to where I want, and because I don't know what the journey looks like, I'm over here thinking that I'm not going in the right direction, so it's stressing me out. So I was like, you know what? The person that I'm supposed to be and the person that I'm supposed to become, I have to get there. So instead of me praying and asking God to save me from my obstacles, I switched my prayers to help me grow through my obstacles. Yeah, those are the 5 things. And if you made it this far in the video, please, please promise me that you're gonna at least give any of these things a try and let me know how they work for you, because I'm a believer. Every single one of them, when I started making those changes, they help. And it also it helps you become a better version of yourself. And that is that's all I'm about. It helped me look at failure in a different way. It helped me be vulnerable to the people around me. And it's like, I have no shame about where I am in my life. I know where I'm headed, and that's all that matters. I know the effort that I'm given. I know the intention that I have, the sense of increase that I put into everything. I just have so much more joy in my life. I have so much more peace in my life. I have so much more love. Your life switches. Your life switches. So again, make sure and look at your routine. If you don't have one, create one. And you can do whatever you want. The world is yours. 2. What did I say number 2 was? Journaling. Get you a journal. I'll tag below the journals that I use. I love them. And I'll also tag the Artist Way if you wanted to start that. 3, isolation. Spend some time with yourself. Figure out what you like to do with yourself and get to know that person and what she wants or he wants. And then the last 2, gratitude and God. If you enjoyed this video, make sure and subscribe. Go watch the other content. I have so much content. If you have any questions, if you want to start conversation, if you have anything that you do that helps, any changes you made to your life, leave them in the comment section, because I would love to know. And I'm sure somebody else would love to know too. Yeah, that's all I have. Thank you for watching. See you next week.